I would go with a quote, be passionate about what you're doing. We became slug champions in 2013, I guess. Normally, there's a taboo that those who are not very good at academics join the MOS department. As a kid, I never wanted to become lecturer, right? What I really wanted to be was an engineer. Obstacles will make you a better person in the time to come. People who are very dependent upon another, some people are very independent, right? And sometimes we ask people to be independent also. Rather, what I really like people to be is interdependent. Don't limit yourself to be a employee of Sri Lanka. Think globally, because we are living in a globalized world. Think globally and develop your mindset to that level.
Welcome to Beyond the Tutor, the brand new interview series of the FMF Media of University of Colombo. I'm Afkar Salim, the host of this session. An untold story is always rich with inspiration, truths of reality, and lessons of eternity. The objective of this very new series is to unfold a side beyond the lecturer we meet. As an amazing fact, since these young professionals are in their early stage of their career, and they can enlighten us the transition from the students to lecturers as well. Showing up here today to remark the inauguration of this series of interview is a young, eminent leading light who is ready to walk us through their journey of success over a fulfilled cozy chat dedicated to the emerging heroes of our Faculty of Management and Finance. So joining us for the very first episode of Beyond the Tutor series, we have a gentleman who is very well known for his unique and resolute personality. He's none other than Mr. Sahan J. Fernando from the Department of Management and Organization Studies. Hello, sir. How are you doing these days?
Hello, Afka. I'm doing well. Doing good.
Great. Awesome. So let's kickstart with the first question. Let me ask you this, sir. So would you like to introduce yourself to our viewers and walk us through your journey, starting from the very beginning, because I'm pretty sure that they are quite curious about how your career journey has been so far and what your current engagements are at the moment.
Right. So my ties with the University of Colombo goes back to 2010 when I started off as an undergraduate. And then after working a couple of years, I passed out in 2014. Then after working a couple of years in the corporate sector, I joined the academic staff of the Department of Management and Organization Studies in September 2016. So it's been 5 years since then. And I started as a professional lecturer and got promoted to senior lecturer transitional in 2019 and still work in the same capacity. So basically that's it.
That's quite an amazing profile you have there, sir. Right, moving on. Now, being a lecturer isn't easy, right? That's obvious. So to explain in a way to grab the attention of students and inspiring them and improve motivation towards the subject and morality, do you remember when you first got the thought to become a lecturer, and how did that transition from student to lecturer felt like? And also adding to that, sir, what were the challenges or hardships that you faced to become the lecturer that you dreamt of and achieved today?
It's a very good question. As a kid, I never wanted to become lecturer, right? What I really wanted to be was an engineer. because maybe when we are kid, those are the limited options that we get to know: doctors, engineers, so on. Right, then halfway through I realized that I'm not good at science, so I selected commerce. Right, but I never wanted to be an accountant, so then I selected HR as my area, but I didn't specialize in HR when it's come to the university. I did BBA special, the general kind of a degree where I get the opportunity to select subjects. But with my engagement with the lecturers in the Department of Management and Organization Studies, I sort of developed a passion towards teaching. And in the university, we tend to normally have learning curves which we normally call KUPI, right? So in that also, sort of I played a front role, and so I realized that I have passion for teaching, I have passion for sharing my knowledge, and maybe looking at the role models which we had that time in the department, sort of I developed an intensity or sort of a desire to become a lecturer. And then I started off in 2016. When I reflect upon my career at the starting point, I don't think that I was really effective as a lecturer. What I did, just go to the lecture hall and deliver the lecture, then come back and start working on the next session. So that's it. But there was a pivotal point where I changed my way of doing lectures. It was mainly because of the we have to do a teaching course to ensure that we become professional teachers in the higher education. So in that, I learned a lot of techniques which we can use to motivate students, how to get their participation. Especially I'm being teaching small classes, getting student interaction is really easy. So I tried a lot of different activities. I tried case studies, discussions, quizzes, especially when the pandemic is going on, when we are doing online lectures, that interaction is really important. So I developed gradually, but I'm not saying that I'm a very fluent or conversant with the way of lecturing right now, because there are more room to develop. It's challenging. It changes from time to time. Pandemic comes, it demands different ways of doing lectures. So it's an exciting journey, which I have enjoyed a lot. And I'm looking forward to future obstacles as well, because obstacles will make you a better person in the time to come.
That's very true. I think most of us can relate to the scenario that you mentioned at the beginning of this explanation, where you think of becoming a doctor or an engineer, and then everything goes on changing. Yeah. And also, yes, challenges do come, and challenges where that shapes yourself to be a better person in the future.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
So as an undergraduate of our very own faculty, you must be able to recall so many memories related to love, friends, ranks, sports, clubs, so on. So could you share with us some of those wonderful memories that you call as unforgettable during your university life?
Yes, those 4 years are truly amazing, because I was totally a full-time student. I never went out for jobs until the last semester. So I was totally a full-time student for 3.5 years. And I did play basketball for the whole 4 years. And it's a different experience, because you get to know people from different faculties. And we became SLUG champions in 2013, I guess. So it's the sort of like epitome of my career in basketball at the University of Colombo. And also, apart from that, we never had this community development project at our time. But a set of people, our clique, got together. We call it Backrows, and we got together and did a seminar for the A-level students in Polonnaruwa district in 2012, when CDP wasn't even there. So through those activities, those are the ones that actually we cherish. And also I would like to add enterprise-based project which we did. It was like the second year of the project. It was introduced to the faculty in 2013, and we did it in 2014. Our company was like Backrows Event Solution. So we organized the event, and we had we had a very large scale product launch and demonstration. We put up a digital screen, we video recorded the event. So it was like a very entertaining and enthusiastic event for us. And so, and also I being a part of MOS department now, normally there's a taboo that those who are not very good at academics join the MOS department. So there was that taboo always. So sort of like the things that we did in the faculty after getting into the department, the activities that we did, we were somewhat able to change that taboo to a certain extent. Because we had a good set of people in the department also in my batch. So we worked well, we worked together and sort of try to do something for the department, because we know the department is quite good than it has been perceived.
Let me tell you, what was your best memory out of all those memories that you mentioned now?
Best memory. It's hard to pick, right? Look, I'll say like this. It's like now at the end of each and every semester we had a click callback process, as I said to you before, right? We tend to go on trips at the end of each and every semester. So those were the memories that I cherish forever. Still the click is there. We are still getting in touch. You would not remember any lectures that you have attended. You would not remember any assignments that you have done. But the memories that you collect, the extracurricular activities that you are involved in, the network that you build, those are the ones you will cherish forever. And I'm a little bit worried about the current context where students are not capable of interacting that much given the pandemic is going on and we are totally online. But I guess when the situation settles, they will be able to experience the same that we have experienced, because that's what university life is all about.
Exactly, true. Makes very sense. Yeah, it's like an umbrella term. That means it's not only about the degree, it's not only about the education side. There are other angles that you could master on and develop yourself for the future. With the current ongoing situation, now we are all stuck at home, and though we all miss our old ways of going out and especially being within the walls of the university with our friends, now all these precautions are for the good and safety of everyone, right? So with the hope that things would go back to normal, if a student asks what is that one thing you should not miss experiencing during the university life, what would be your answer?
Being a full-time dedicated student is not what you should miss, because it's like this, Safka, right? Now you get a chance to be a full-time student for 4 years, right? And once you passed out, you will be working forever. Like 35 to 40 years, you will be in the corporate sector and you will be working forever, and you would not have a time to reflect upon yourself, think about you, develop yourself as a human being, build a network. All these opportunities I'm not saying it would not be there, but it will be limited. The time that you will have for those activities will be limited. So be a full-time student, enjoy yourself, do the degree, do all the extracurricular activities, develop your skills, not only the knowledge and also the attitude, build a network. To do that, you need to be a full-time student. I am very much supporting students to be full-time rather than becoming part-time and getting into a job after maybe getting into the specialization and so on.
Now it's the time to set the stage on fire, because what's the purpose of settling for a spark and not the fire, right? So yes, sir, embrace yourself to answer the rapid fire questions. Number 1, which subject was your least favorite during university?
Difficult. There are so many subjects that I don't prefer. Let's say auditing.
We'll move on to the next one. Life-changing moment during your university?
Getting into the department of MOS for specialization.
Funniest thing ever happened to you?
There are so many funny moments. I guess ragging period. Yes. Certain instances which I went through during the ragging. Yes.
Fourth one. What is your favorite catchphrase or quote?
I would go with the quote, be passionate about what you're doing.
Choose one. Reading minds or being invisible, and why?
Being invisible.
And why is
so you can observe people. I would like to observe people.
as a student myself, I sometimes find it hard to balance my academics and extracurricular activities at the same time. So any advice you wish to give on balancing extracurricular and academics?
Well, first, it's being confident about you, right? You have to have a confidence that you have the capacity to do all this, right? Otherwise, you would struggle a lot. Secondly, you can prioritize certain things. Like, for an example, when semester ends come, you can prioritize on doing your exams over the other. And likewise, you need to have a priority list, I guess. And based on that, you can play accordingly, because it's not all the time studying each and every day, and it is not playing your sports or doing your extracurricular each and every day. So you have to have the right balance. So, and also little bit add sometimes maybe reading, having your own time for you to reflect upon your life and see. Those will definitely benefit if you are living in a very stressful environment. So what I'm doing is really like reading and watching movies and so on, but maybe depending on your interest, you can pick whatever the things to refresh yourself. So basically have self-confidence in you, and secondly prioritize and add interesting activities, one or two hobbies for you, so you can balance all the activities at the end of it.
Like you mentioned, so it's all about having the right balance, right? Moving on to the next question. Life is unique to one another, but the lessons we share and learn could always be an eye-opener. So we would like to hear from you, sir, the biggest life lesson you learned and that you wish to share with your students.
Right, it's like this. Now, normally, when it comes to people, you will see in a society that there are people who are very dependent upon another. Some people are very independent, right? And sometimes we ask people to be independent also. Rather, what I really like people to be is interdependent, right? Because we don't have everything, we don't have the ability to do all the things that are required. We have our own strengths, we have our own weaknesses. So sometimes if you are to get something done and you are not very good at it, then maybe having a friend of yours to do it will be a sort of a plus point. And for that to take place, you need to be interdependent, right? If you are independent, then you would not be able to get it done. So being interdependent, support each other, because once you do something to someone else, then it will replicate, or it will sort of reciprocate in another day. In the time to come, when you are going through hardship, it will definitely benefit you. So be interdependent and trust people, because we have a really good, very trust issue in the society where we don't trust people, and that's why we are getting into more independent segment rather than interdependent. So trust people and be interdependent, get the benefit of others, do something for them as well. So life will be very contentful.
It was indeed a useful advice there. So we have arrived to the end of an amazing interview with Mr. Sahan. Sir, one last question before we wrap things up. What would be your concluding advice to all the undergraduates and anyone who looks up to you?
It's a little bit a lengthy answer, I would say. So first, be confident about yourself, because some are doing quite well as undergraduates. I have seen over the last 5 years, I have seen a lot of good students are there. They are doing really well once they passed out in the corporates also. But many are lacking the self-confidence. You have done the A-levels, a very competitive exam, and you have joined one of the best business schools in the country. So you have to be confident about yourself. Language may be a barrier, but it is not something impossible. You can develop it as you go along. If you put a little effort, you can develop it. So have the confidence in you to unleash your potential, recognize your potential, recognize your ability, because we call these undergraduates as the cream of the nation, right? Because they are the best in the common stream. That's why they have been selected to Colombo University. So you need to have that confidence in you, otherwise it would not reflect upon your education, upon the activities that you would be doing, right? So first, have the self-confidence. Secondly, develop the reading habit, because you are reading for a degree. It's not same as what you are doing in the A levels. So you need to develop this reading habit, and it will benefit once you passed out, because there won't be anyone to update you about the knowledge and the information in the area that you are expert at. So you have to do it on yourself, yourself, and to do it, you need to have the reading as a habit. Then secondly, interact with people, share the knowledge. More you share, more you will be gaining, right? So interact with your learning partners. It could be lecturers, it could be your batchmates, it could be your senior, junior batchmates, whatsoever. Share, interact. Then thirdly, I would say engage in extracurricular as much as possible. Do a sport, do a sport, represent the university, get colors if possible, be a captain or a vice captain if it is possible, get into societies, do the activities, get hold of the positions, be responsible. Through all this, you will be developing a good set of skills like leadership, teamwork, negotiation, problem solving, all this, right? Because once you go out, sometimes, as I said, you would not have enough time to develop yourself. You would not have time enough to invest upon you. Rather, you will be investing your time upon someone else's business, right? So use this time very carefully, very thoughtfully to develop yourself, be a better human being, trust one another, and be interdependent. And you can do wonders. And don't limit yourself to be an employee of Sri Lanka. Think globally, because we are living in a globalized world. Think globally and develop your mindset to that level.
With that, we wind up the very first episode of Beyond the Tutor. Stay tuned for more lively content in the upcoming weeks. Till then, thank you and stay safe.